Test it.
Nearly a year. First off, congrats. You're nearly a year in.
Mhm.
Your academy has made big waves, developed serious talents, and built a reputation for itself. But let's not sugarcoat it. Two losses, two draws. Are the wheels coming off, or is this just a rough patch?
I would definitely say it's a rough patch. You know, the boys have done tremendously well, just like you said, and thank you for the congrats. You know, the last four games we've lost two, drew twice as well. I wouldn't say that we've lost control or we don't have the ability because it's the same players that have scored 10 goals, 5 goals in a game. You know, they've been tested a few times, but this is another bigger test, so they have to overcome it. As simple as that.
You guys tend to call yourself the Real Madrid of Belgium. Has that title become like a little bit of a burden? Do you think you're possibly wearing a crown that's too heavy to wear where you're currently standing?
Nah, definitely not. The reason why I say this is because we're the only academy that are doing what we're doing right now. We've got probably the most talented players outside of elite level, and we train really well. We train the highest standard. You know, we've got a fantastic media team with winning games, and this is why I call us the Real Madrid of Belgium. Also because most players that are not in elite level, they want to play for us. Hence why we get a lot of messages and a lot of DMs from players all over Belgium and outside of Belgium as well. So I still stand on that, and there's no pressure at all. Definitely not.
Who has been the most important player for you this season?
That's a great question. I think if I'm being completely honest, even from the outside looking in, you can tell that the strikers, the attackers have been fantastic. They've been catalysts. So Nana and Jeremy, they've scored the most goals. But you can't forget the defenders who've defended well. The midfielders also doing their jobs. The goalkeeper's doing fantastic as well. He's done fantastically well. But obviously Jeremy and Nana have been fantastic for us. You know, they've been scoring the goals. Everyone has been doing really well, you know, so credit to the entire team. But obviously you've got to highlight the two main attackers. So that's that. Yeah.
The two star players. Do players tend to call each other out, or do they have more of a it's not my fault type of energy?
There's a bit of a language barrier between me and the players, you know. But I do see the senior players like your Massimos, your Jeremies, your Elham, Nana, Christian, Marcelo. When players are making mistakes, they do let them know.
Yeah.
And we want to cultivate this sort of culture especially in training, to make players, you know, hold each other accountable. So yeah, they do call each other out.
There has been a lot of talk about you possibly taking over as the head coach of Congo's under 20 national team. Could you set the record straight? How much truth is there to those rumors?
Oof, we're getting into the nitty gritty now. So what I would say is that nothing is confirmed. I would say there's a bit of noise, but I've never shied away from the opportunity of becoming a national team coach for Congo. Even when I was a player, I've always wanted to play for my national team. I think it's something that I'll be really proud of for myself personally and for my family as well. But for now, everything's up in the air. That's just to set the record straight for everyone else.
Okay, so nothing is concrete yet.
Nothing is concrete yet, definitely not, no. I think we should move on.
Have these rumors affected the locker room?
Definitely not. My players are too professional and they're too calm, you know, for these speculations to even get in the changing room or disturb their performances and their concentration. Definitely not. To be fair, I have to give them credit. They are very professional with their attitude. Whatever happens in the locker room, I don't know. I don't go in there. I let the players handle the changing room themselves. So maybe they do talk about, maybe they don't. I don't think they do. It's not that important. Yeah.
As far as he knows, nothing has been said. So, being the only coach, or pretty much the only coach here at Godson, I can imagine that brings a lot of pressure. But how do you handle that pressure?
If I'm going to be entirely and utterly honest with the situation at Godson and the coaching, I'm going to set something out there first of all. Yes, I'm the only coach. And I am looking for coaches. I'm looking for coaches that have the vision of improving these boys and maximizing their potential. But now, to answer your question, it is difficult. It is pressure. It's pressure because you got two ways of handling this. You can either focus on the academy as a business, or you can focus on the academy to maximizing these players' potentials, to bringing them to professional levels. And that's where the pressure comes in, because these players are traveling from all over Belgium. We got players that are traveling 2 hours by train, 2 hours by bus. We got players traveling from France as well to come into training maybe 3-4 times a week. So when they come into me or they come into the academy, their mindset is, I want to go and play pro. So I've got to put on a good session for them. I've got to be as professional as I can, because some of these players have played at a good level. And when they've played at a good level, they've seen good coaches, they've seen good training sessions. The pressure for me is, I've got to set up a good session for them. I've got to give them the correct coaching points, especially when you have matches. You've got to tell defenders what to do, midfielders what to do, how to defend. I have to tell them what's going to happen even before they've seen it in training. And then when they get into the game situation, they can be like, okay, the coach has given us enough information. So that's where the pressure comes in, to be entirely and completely honest with you, yeah.
So you guys, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you would think. What is your ultimate vision? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
That's another great question, Sayo.
I have only great questions.
In terms of the academy professionally, I want us to become the best academy in the world within the next 5 to 10 years. Now, what's going to determine that is the way we organize and structure everything. I think right now we're doing okay, but in terms of a 5-year to 10-year plan, we're miles away from it. But which is a good thing, because that means we got something to strive towards. On a personal level, I do want to become a top-level coach. Godson can definitely help me with that, with the players that I've got. I see myself maybe coaching a Premier League club for maybe under 16, under 18s. That would be a dream come true. Everything comes with time. I'm only 30 years old. So when you look at Premier League coaches or coaches that are at higher standards, they are in their mid-40s. So I'm relatively young, but we have to remain professional and we have to remain focused. So that's the main thing.
After a win or loss, or even all this Congo talk, what is the voice in your head telling you you're meant to do next?
Every time we have a game, my focus is only on winning. You know, I do put a lot of pressure on myself and the players, but then let's say we lose, it takes me about 48 hours to fully recover, because I look at the details, why we lost, what happened. I watch the game at least 3-4 times. I always get onto Glory, who has all the videos, and he sends them to me. And I'm looking at the little details. Whenever we do win, you know, I don't look too much into it, but I am always happy. When we win with the academy, I can take everyone out for food. That's just my thing. I give my blood, sweat, tears, my entire soul for the academy. So a win is massive, and a defeat is a funeral. Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you want to say. I know what you want me to say.
No,
you want it
didn't
on
hear
record,
it.
don't
The
you?
wind just blew too hard.
The media team are the heartbeat to Yora Enzam.
Thank you. How do you personally define success? Is it coaching at the highest level, inspiring these young players, or possibly even proving something to yourself or to others?
It's a mixture of everything. Success is subjective. How I would define success for the academy is players respectively playing at their highest level. Not everyone is going to make it pro at the highest level. That is the stone cold truth. Our job at the academy is, let's say we've got players that come from the streets. They've come to the academy. That's probably going to be their highest level of football. And that's a success. And then you've got players that have played at a semi-pro level, or let's say D3, D2, D1. For them coming to the academy, they want to go and play elite. So if we can help them to go and play at an elite level, then that's a success. And then we've got maybe 1% that's going to go all the way to the top. That's a massive success. So everyone's got their bit of success, and you can't say everyone's that's coming into Godson, they're all going to go and play pro. That's a fallacy. Remain positive. We've got to remain optimistic, and it's about the output, the input. It's about the consistency of training, because these guys, they got to put in their minds that when you're at the academy, you are competing against players that are training every single day at pro level. So if you're not training every single day at the highest level against players that are playing pro level, then what are your chances of making it?
You know? Now, Every person has a why. What is yours? What is the reason that you wake up and push through the pressure, the rumors, and even the setbacks?
There's a point to prove. There's a purpose. There's a purpose in life. The reason why we get up every day and do these things is because we failed at some stuff. There's a point to prove to yourself, to God, to your family. Within this sport, as professional people, you gotta gain validation. You gotta be credible. So that's the why. The why for the players is to get themselves out of the mud, out of certain situations to help their families. The why is you want to become a pro because you have something to prove.
So, coach, I kept the best one as last. If everything ended tomorrow, so no more coaching, no more football, what would you want to be remembered for?
No one has ever asked me that question before, but again, I'm going to answer this two ways. So we'll start with the unserious. I'd like to be remembered as the coolest man in Belgium.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
I'd like to be remembered as the coolest man in Belgium, number one. And on a serious note, on a positive note, I'd like to be remembered as someone that has given a large majority of young players faith, a second chance. I'd also like to be remembered as someone who was positive towards young players, even coaches and people around me. An honest person, a hardworking person. That's coming from the bottom of my heart.
The coolest man in Belgium? Whatever the future holds, all eyes are on you. Thank you for your time and good luck writing your next chapter.
You've been fantastic. You were very professional.
Thank
and
you.
your questions actually made me contemplate. So, yeah, good luck to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If it's not me fucking up, it's them. Allez!
Been scoring goals for us.
That was
Honestly.
Man said only 30 years old. So, coach, I kept the last one. I kept the. Hey, mamae! One thing is for shorten.
Okay, listen. If we win, he will come with us. He will become assistant coach.
No
for
problem,
Joe
I
Ifie.
accept. I accept, no problem.
You accept.
But the thing is, I don't talk too much before the game. Do you know what I mean? These guys, they're calling me at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're calling me at 11 o'clock in the
You're
morning.
just insecure because you know.
If I was insecure, I would call you. You called me.
I just call you to help you. You know? Yes, 2 legs a little bit. Look, c'est parti chez le coiffeur.
Mais nous on est des gagnants, on a gagné gagnants.
C'était
le score la dernière fois.
And then you girls, if we win, you will work for us.
Les filles, vous
Okay? Montrez aussi vos têtes. Tournez les caméras.
Voilà.